It's a good time to be a Pokemon fan. The franchise is as popular as it's ever been, with the anime wrapping up one of its best seasons, re-releases of the original games on Virtual Console, and a year-long celebration of the 20th anniversary. But all this pales in comparison to the excitement for Pokémon Sun and Moon, the 7th generation of the series, and the first real attempt to change up the formula. While past games have had changes and improvements to the battle system, the bonus games, and the regions, the structure has ostensibly stayed the same. Yet Sun and Moon offers a Pokemon experience that's both new and familiar, and I believe that it's the biggest strength of this game. Things begin familiar enough with your character moving to the New Alola region, a series of 4 islands with traditions wholly different from anything experienced before. Instead of the usual gym challenge, there's the Island Challenge. In it, young trainers become closer to their Pokemon and grow stronger by taking on 7 trials and 4 grand trials around Alola. It's a different take that stands out because of the way it plays with the structure. No longer are you going town to town expecting to help out with problems or finding a way to continue on so you can challenge the next gym. Instead, you're never quite sure what you'll be doing next. You'll have an idea, of course, but the order never remains the same. It also helps that all of Alola seems to be in on the Island Challenge. Volunteers are there to guide you, people reminisce about their time taking on the challenge, and there's just a sense of community about the whole process that I never experienced before in previous games. But the best thing here is how it's woven into the story of Sun and Moon. I won't divulge anything specific, yet I was continually impressed with how well it's told. There are actual characters here with arcs, strong personalities, and time given to them to make them stand out. And there's honest-to-God theming going on with this story with its focus on family and community. This is my favorite Pokemon plot by far, but once again, it's the characters that stand out the most. The gameplay is just as strong though. There are new Pokemon, new moves, and the regional variants, but that's to be expected at this point. The biggest addition are the Z moves. Early on, you'll receive the Z Ring, which works in conjunction with Z Crystals held by your Pokemon. There are different Z Crystals for each type, as well as a few that are Pokemon specific. Essentially, if a Pokemon is holding a normal Z Crystal, then any of its normal moves can be used as a basis for it. The attack animation is always the same, but the properties of the attacks changes depending on the original move's power and whether it's physical or special. They also work with status moves, but no special animation plays out, instead just increasing how effective it is. Z moves feel balanced from my experience. They can only be used once per battle, but can turn the tide if used properly. And since they scale with the power of your current moves, and are affected by the same type strengths and weaknesses, it never feels like a win button. The only issue is that the animations, as cool as they are, can get a bit dull if you end up using them a lot. I mentioned before how the Island Challenge was a bit more unpredictable in its structure, but it does have a flow. Each island has trial captains and you must clear their trials in order to face a totem Pokemon. The totem Pokemon is larger and stronger than a typical Pokemon of that type, plus they're able to put out an SOS so other Pokemon can come help for a 2-on-1 battle. Once they've been defeated, you'll be rewarded with a Z Crystal, though you'll receive other Z Crystals in other ways throughout the game. Once all of the trials on each island is completed, players can challenge the Kahuna in a Grand Trial. That's pretty much a gym battle. After defeating the Kahuna, you're able to move on to the next island. But again, there's so much more variety to this challenge. One trial may be simply hunting down hiding Pokemon, while another has you using the Pok A Ride Stoutland's nose to find ingredients, or even watching a dance to see the differences. They're not all treated seriously either, with some fun and silly moments. There's a real feeling of positivity through it all as you meet each of the trial captains and Kahunas. Honestly, it'll be quite hard to return to the standard gym battles because these short highlights helped mix things up just enough. Again, different yet familiar. A lot of the changes in Sun and Moon comes down to player convenience. The Rotom Pokedex provides a constant map on the bottom screen that shows players exactly where they need to go to continue the main story. While I never needed the help to know where I should go, it did give me an idea of how much I could explore before going to that point. I enjoy being able to check everything out before I move on, and accidentally stumbling into the next story bit is always kind of a bummer. The Rotom inside doesn't do much else, usually commenting on the places you should go or a line about the latest event, but the Pokedex itself, specifically the Pokemon Finder, is excellent. As long as a Pokemon isn't in a cave or a building, it'll show the exact patch of grass and what time of day a Pokemon can be found, making catching them all just a little bit easier. A new screen will also appear whenever you catch a Pokemon. This provides the option to look at its stats and moves, compare it to your current team, and decide whether to swap them out on the fly or not. It's a great tool for those looking for the ideal team, but if it doesn't matter to you, it can be switched off in the options. The biggest and best change though is the complete removal of HMs. Instead, there's the Pok A Ride system, which allows you to summon specific Pokemon whenever you want. Tauros and Sharpedo will smash through rocks on land and sea respectively, Stoutland can find hidden items, Charizard flies you to previous areas, and so on. It's incredibly useful, very simple, and should never be taken away. Exploring everything in Pokemon no longer feels like a chore. Another change is Pokemon Ami, which has been replaced by Pokemon Refresh. While similar, Refresh is essentially more streamlined. Gone are the mini-games to help increase a Pokemon's affection. Instead, it comes down to either petting them or feeding them new Pokebeans. However, after Pokemon battles, an option will sometimes appear, allowing you to clean your Pokemon. They get dirty from using Mud Slap or getting hit by one, dusty from rock moves, or wet from battling in the rain. Cleaning them will help toward increasing their affection, and it's even possible to cure status elements through the system. I found Pokemon Refresh much easier to manage than Ami. No longer did I have to play through simple but repetitive minigames in order to get the benefits of affection. Instead, the option is there after a battle, and I could easily ignore it or use it and throw in a few extra beans or petting them for a job well done. It felt natural and not overbearing or wasted in its use. Poképelago is similar in that regard. While you only start with one isle that provides beans, you can spend those beans to unlock more isles or develop them for better rewards. In addition to the bean providing island, there's one where you can grow berries, one to send your Pokemon to collect items including stones, one to train your Pokemon, and one to increase their happiness. All of these are extremely useful, though they take time to unlock due to the limited amount of beans you can collect each day and the total Pokemon requirement that some have. It's a fun addition that rewards players for their time. It also changes up how the daycare works in that it's no longer a daycare, but a nursery. Your Pokemon won't level up while in the nursery. They only breed since the leveling is handled by the Poképelago, where many more than 2 Pokemon can train at a time. These are changes that feel beneficial to the player. Each one matters and helps you along your way, no matter which one you focus on. Then there's the Festival Plaza, where you can earn festival coins to buy special items, as well as upgrade your plaza for different shops that you can choose from. It also serves as a hub for trading and battling with other trainers. Unfortunately, I was unable to fully explore its potential since its focus is so much online, but I found it simple to navigate and easy to use all the same. It's something I'll use more after the official release. The same can't be said about Pokefinder though. This photo mode is interesting in that you can take pictures of Pokemon in the wild, but it doesn't have much use beyond that. If it is a new Pokemon, they'll be added to your Pokedex, but other than being able to save them to your SD card, the Finder didn't really attract me. It's there to enjoy, but the mileage out of it will differ from person to person. All of these elements come together in a way that makes Pokemon more accessible than ever, and the game simply looks great on the 3DS. The models are well detailed with the characters emoting when they need to. Plus, simply having trainers on screen with the Pokemon in addition to the battle arenas reflecting where you are adds to the experience. It makes you feel like a trainer. Alola is a varied and beautiful region with plenty to explore and a lot of it that you want to explore. It naturally pulls you in. The layout of each area is also subtly different from previous games. There are often paths through the tall grass that allow you to avoid wild Pokemon. The grid-like structure is also gone, providing a freedom that was sorely lacking. In a lot of ways, it feels like Pokemon has finally caught up with the times while still remaining a Pokemon game. Unfortunately, all these changes and extra details seem to be pushing the 3DS to its limit. While Sun and Moon runs smoothly during exploration, battles take their toll. Single battles fare fine with the system being only slightly slower, but it's during the totem Pokemon fights and double battles that things grind to a halt. Often, double battles had both sides of the trainers freeze in place for a few seconds before the animations kicked in, but the slowdown never really went away. It's an unfortunate blemish on such a polished game. However, this only happens with the old 3DS models. I tested these moments on my new 3DS to discover that the slowdown was almost entirely gone. It's unfortunate that there's a difference at all, but I do recommend playing on a new 3DS if you're able to. Thankfully, the music is simply gorgeous. It captures the feeling of each environment and every story beat perfectly, and it's truly eclectic, ranging from harmonious melodies to the disjointed music of a haunted mall to the rap-inspired Team Skull themes. It all clicked for me, and I highly recommend playing with headphones on. Taken all together, Pokémon Sun and Moon is a wonderful game. There are light stumbles here and there, with the biggest being the slowdown on the old 3DS, but I still enjoyed every moment of it. The new Pokémon are fun and interesting, the characters are memorable and sympathetic, and the adventure is classic yet surprising. I simply love this game and how it was able to make changes that improve the experience while still remaining a Pokémon game. To be honest, this is my new favorite generation, and I think Pokémon has a bright future ahead of it. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to GameXplain for more on Pokémon and other things gaming.